Good morning, everyone. So, am I audible? Okay. So, we are just going to start with a new topic, Newton's laws of motion. So, till now, the chapter is done. That is your kinematics and also your measurement units. So, from measurement units, more applications which will be used from a topic is your vectors, like resolution and all, which will be used in this chapter. And from kinematics, you can say everything can be asked except your average speed and average velocity. So all the basic fundas, whatever we learned in the chapter one dimension and two dimensions related to equations of motions, projectile motion, all the applications will be carried forward to this chapter. So if the last chapter is pretty clear, obviously this chapter will be but easy to understand. And it's simple also because last year you all have already learned about it in your school syllabus. And some of you already have learned in even the FB syllabus, those who were there in foundation program last year. It's a pretty simple topic. So more of numericals we have. Only one additional topic which is added in this is your free body diagrams. More of calculations, more of vectors, bit of trigonometry. The new thing which is added is your free body diagram, FBDs. So rest of the things are simple. So we'll just go through those things and then we can just proceed further. No, Bhupen, we don't have calculus. Bhupen, we don't have calculus. Okay, chalo, I'm just starting with the lecture. So we'll just start with some basic terms which you might come across in your questions. So the first basic term which you'll come across is something called as point mass. So what is your point mass? So whenever I talk about a point mass is nothing but you can say which has no dimensions, zero dimensions. So an object with zero dimensions can be related to as a point mass. Yeah, negligible mass also you can say. And it is just a mathematical concept to simplify your questions because we need some reference mass which won't affect the entire system calculation. So that time we take point mass as a reference mass usually. So you can just define your point mass as an object whose dimensions are almost zero. You can also call your object can be considered as a point object during a motion in a given time. You just compare the distance covered by it is much more larger than its own size. Even then we call the object as a point object whose mass will be represented as point mass. The next term has something called as your inertia. The basic terminology for your inertia everyone is aware of, but anyone want to let me know what you all have an idea? Yeah, Pankaj, what is an inertia?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what is inertia as
It's
per
a
you?
tendency that how an object will maintain its state.
Acha, maintain its state. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so we can define that it's a particular type of tendency, or else you can also call it as one of the property of the body that it cannot change its own state, either state of rest or state of motion of its own. So the property by which it cannot change its own state by its own You can call it as inertia. Like if a simple example, if I go in perfect terms, you can see it as an inherent. Inherent means nothing but it's property, inbuilt property of the body by which they cannot change a state of rest of uniform motion by their own. Means they need some external medium, they need some external system, external force to change its property. Also, can I call inertia as a physical quantity? Is it a physical quantity? Yeah, Bhupen.
Sir, then the inertial frame of reference is similar to inertia.
I didn't get you. Come back again. What you said?
Sir, I was
Hmm.
saying that the inertial frame of reference, is it
Hmm.
similar to inertia?
No, 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 no. Inertial frame of reference, that is nothing but the considerations that we are going to learn in this chapter. What are inertial frame and what are non-inertial frame? That are
Okay.
nothing but the perspectives of a person observing something. That is your frame
Oh,
of references. And in those frame of references, we have those two types. So that we are going to understand in this, in new
okay.
after Newton's third law. Okay,
Okay,
you
sir.
just tell me this question. Chalo, now you are unmute then. Is inertia a physical quantity?
Inertia? No, sir.
Hmm?
No.
Why?
Sir, it does not have SI units.
Yeah, you can say it's just a property. It
Yes, sir.
cannot be measured. If it
Yeah.
cannot be measured, so it is not a physical quantity. So always relate to the definition.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bhupen. So we can say since it cannot be measured, therefore it is not a physical quantity. If it is not a physical quantity, and if I talk about the units,
Sir, but last year we learned that mass can be considered a measure of inertia. So is that
yeah,
indirect? So is it not counted because it's
no,
indirect?
it is just represents. Inertia just represents. It's a property. It's a property which depends upon the mass of the body. It is not
Okay.
equivalent or anything related to the mass.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, so when we talk about not a physical quantity means it won't have any units. And if it doesn't have any unit, that means it will not even have any dimensions. So in short, Surya, here's the statement which you can remember for mass, whatever the confusion you had. It's a property. It's not any measurement. It's just the property of the body which depends on the mass. So just a property. So since when we relate the word property means it is not any quantity, and that property of the body is depending upon the mass of the body. So nothing related to numerical terms of or the measurement terms of the mass. Also, you can relate in another terms as well. Like if I just talk about two bodies and two bodies are having same mass. One body is in motion, another body is in rest. So can I say that both have the same inertia? If I talk about two bodies, one body is in motion and one body is at rest. So can I comment that they possess same inertia? Is it? Two bodies with same mass, one is in motion, one is at rest, sorry. So will they possess same inertia? Atharva,
Yes, sir.
tell me what it will be.
Sir, it will be same.
Why
If the
it will be same?
are same.
Yeah, correct, absolutely correct. Thank you, Atharva. So I defined over here, it is depending upon the mass of the body. The property depends on the mass. So if the two bodies are having same mass, one is in motion and one is in rest, you will say that both the bodies possess same inertia. One will have inertia named as inertia of rest, one will have inertia named as inertia of motion. But both will possess the same property. Why same property? Because both are having the same mass. Okay, so even this thing you can just keep in your mind or just have a note of it somewhere. Two bodies with same mass will possess same inertia, even if one is at rest and another is at motion. Yes, Satakshi, that we are going to come across. So anyone want to ask anything related to these two terminologies? One is your point mass and another is your inertia. And basic, what is inertia? Even that part is clear on what factor it depends and the condition for two different bodies. Anyone want to just take a screenshot or anything? Just click a pic of it. I'm just moving to the next slide. The next terminology. Yeah, Surya. So when I talk about linear momentum, who can define me the linear momentum of a body? So there are two types of explanations for it. One is by the formula we define, and another one its meaning. So anyone help me out? One of you. What is linear momentum? Anyone? Yeah, Gargi. Gargi, can you unmute yourself? Karthik,
Yes, sir.
tell me what is linear momentum?
Mass into velocity.
Acha, means you can define directly the product of mass and the velocity as the linear momentum. What exactly it tried to state whenever I say product of mass and velocity? So by the word momentum, what you basically understand?
Quantity of motion produced by a body.
Yeah, correct. It's the quantity of motion. Perfect. Thank you, Karthik. So you can also call your linear momentum when you multiply mass and velocity, nothing but they are defining the motion. Velocity is a motion. Mass, when multiplied with the velocity, it defines the quantity of motion. So by a light object, by a heavy object. So whenever you define linear momentum, either you can define the quantity of motion or you can directly define it as product of mass and velocity. So if I just try to define the mathematical formula for it, and I just assume that the body has mass m and is moving with a velocity v, since v is a vector, I represent it in a vector form, then the linear momentum p is given by. Now since it is depending upon velocity, p is equal to mv, m is a scalar multiple. So obviously if v is a vector, momentum will also become a vector. Now since it is a vector quantity, it will have a specific direction, and from the formula as we have p equals to mv, so it means p is along the direction of the velocity of the body, because m becomes a scalar multiple in that case. So that is about your linear momentum. If I talk about the SI CGS units, SI unit will be kg meter per second as per the formula, and the CGS unit will be gram centimeter per second. Basic formula. Now, what if I want to compare some conditions related to the formula? That means if I say that the momentum for two different bodies, are equal. So if two different mass objects with different masses have same momentum. So if they have same momentum, can I say first object will have the momentum as m1 times v1, because mass is also different, velocity is also different, but the momentum is same. At the same time, the second object that can be represented by the formula as m2v2, and since both are equal, both are having same momentum, I just equated them. Now if I just try to make velocity on one side and mass on the other side, you will get a ratio in terms of v1 by v2 equal to m2 by m1. Now these relation is majorly used in your numericals. Now when I say v1 by v2 equal to m2 by m1, that means I can just relate the condition that your velocity is inversely proportional to mass. And when velocity is inversely proportional to mass, and if I want to plot them graphically, it will be nothing but an inverse graph, because velocity is proportional to inverse of mass. So it's an inverse graph, inverse function. That is how graphically you can represent. Also, I can keep a condition where mass is constant, momentum and velocity are compared, so that you can say they are directly proportionate. When I want to compare mass and momentum, that time I will keep my velocity same. Means two bodies are moving with same velocity. So who will have the greater momentum? The body which is having more mass will have greater momentum if the velocities are same. But if I talk about a light body and a heavier body, and if the bodies are possessing the same momentum, that means a lighter body is moving with a higher speed and a heavier body is moving with a less speed. Yeah, Ryan?
Sir, can we say that momentum is force applied by a body per unit time?
Yeah. That so like later on we are going to define. Na? That is one of the law of motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it clear? So one condition I have represented on the screen. Other two conditions I'm just orally saying. One condition for same momentum, it is specified where velocity and mass are inversely proportional. Two more conditions you can try to define where if mass is constant, momentum and velocity will be directly proportional. And if velocity is constant, momentum and mass will be directly proportional. So in that case, the graph, if I try to plot out for momentum versus mass or momentum versus velocity, both the graphs will be an inclined line. This I'm just representing for your graph of momentum versus velocity if I take mass as constant. And similarly, I can just go for your second where velocity is constant. So here will be momentum, here will be mass. The graph is going to remain the same, like it will be an inclined line. Is it clear, all the three graphs? I'm just clearing the screen. Just take 1 minute, just go through the things, whatever I have written. Anyone want to note down anything, you can note down. After 1 minute, I'm just going to shift to the next slide. Anyone want to ask anything, kindly ask. Yeah, Shravan, tell me.
Sir, when the mass is constant and the velocity and momentum changes, then the ratio would be how can we represent the ratio, sir? Like 1 by
What is constant? What is constant?
so
Mass.
Mass is constant.
It will be P1 by P2 equal to V1 by V2.
Sir, that since mass is equal, mass is constant, sir. So therefore, we can do it as m equals to P1 upon V1.
V1 by P1.
Sir,
M equal. Yeah. Correct. Tell me.
So mv equals to p, therefore m equals to p1 upon v1.
Correct.
And similarly, m equals to p2 upon v2.
Perfect.
So we get as p1 upon v1 equals to p2 upon v2.
Yes, perfect. Or else you can write it as P1 by P2 equal to V1 by V2. If you try to interchange your V1 and P2, cross multiply.
So then it would be multiplied, no sir?
It will be cross multiplied, no? Means the denominator on the left hand side will become the numerator on the right hand side.
Okay,
and the numerator on the right hand side came to the denominator of the left hand side.
Okay.
Yes, Sharvin, mass is directly proportional to momentum if velocity is kept constant. Okay, so I'm just moving to the next screen. Okay, so here we start with our 3 laws of motion. The first law, even if I try to define, anyone, what is exactly the first law of motion? Yeah, Shatakshi.
The state of an object,
Hmm.
or I can say the object maintains its state of rest or motion.
Hmm.
It is its state of inertia until and unless an unbalanced force is acted upon it.
Unbalanced external forces acted upon it. Okay, so like it's related to the inertia, you can say. Once a body continues to be in its given state, either it can be a state of rest or it can be a state of motion. It will be in its state unless and until it is acted upon by an external unbalanced force to change its state. Means it cannot change its states by its own. That was actually inertia. So we need someone, an external unbalanced force to change its state. Nothing but it is related to something of inertia. So directly we can say that Newton's first law defines the inertia. Yes, Akshat, you can say that. So directly the law is also called as law of inertia, the first law. Now here, when we are using a term inertia, just let us define some types of inertia then. Okay, so how many types do we have of inertia? Yeah, Shatakshi.
Inertia of mass,
Hmm.
inertia of rest,
Hmm.
inertia of motion,
Hmm.
and inertia of direction.
Okay. So suppose if I take inertia of rest, how you define it? Inertia of rest.
So that the object is in a state of rest. It is not changing its position respective to surrounding.
It means you mean to say it is the inability of the body to change its state of rest.
So,
Okay. Any example based on it?
sir, a book kept on the table is at rest with the with respect to the table.
Achha, okay. Any other example? Then anything object kept on certain thing. Any other which defines inertia of rest?
I cannot think of one right now.
Hmm.
A car at rest.
Hmm.
I can say.
Just a car at rest means you are talking about any object which is at rest. So according to the person who is in the external frame, he will observe that at rest only.
Yes.
Not any examples you are able to recall. Okay, chalo, not a problem. Thank you, Satakshi. Yeah, Rana,
हाँ सर, मेरे पास एग्जांपल है ना सर.
बोलो.
सर सपोज करो आप बस में बैठे हुए, बस रेस्ट पे, ठीक है.
हाँ.
अचानक से दौड़ते हुए ड्राइवर आया और उसने बस चला दिया, ठीक है. तो पीछे से ठसका लगता है, हम लोग कहाँ फेंकाते हैं, हम लोग पीछे की तरफ चले जाते हैं ना.
उसको धक्का मारा.
नहीं नहीं, अरे
तो?
ड्राइवर ने बस गाड़ी चलाई, ठीक है. हम लोग बैठे हुए तो हम लोग पीछे की तरफ चले जाते हैं ना, क्योंकि हम लोग तो रेस्ट में हैं. अरे नहीं सर, हम लोग सीट पे बैठे हुए हैं आराम से, ठीक है सर.
अच्छा, हाँ.
गाड़ी चली, हम तो रेस्ट में हैं, तो हमारी बॉडी की टेंडेंसी है रेस्ट पे रहने की. अब गाड़ी को आगे जाना है तो हम पीछे फेंकाएंगे ना सर.
अच्छा,
समझ
अगर
रहे हो?
गाड़ी को रिवर्स लेना है तो
रिवर्स लेना, अरे सर मतलब सपोज करो हम लोग अपना रिवर्स लेने.
नहीं, अगर मैं सिंपल, हाँ वही मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, मतलब ऑपोजिट जाएगा ऐसे तुम कह रहे हो.
हाँ.
ओके, ऐसा क्यों होता है?
ऐसा इसलिए होता है क्योंकि सर हमारी बॉडी जो हमारी, सपोज करो हम लोग बस में खड़े हैं, हमारी लोअर बॉडी को सर रेस्ट में लेना है, लेकिन सर अब हमारी जो अपर बॉडी है, कमर के ऊपर वाला हिस्सा, उसको चलना है. तो सर वो मतलब वो पीछे का, मतलब जो हमारा बॉडी जो पैर है वो तो बस के साथ कांटेक्ट में तो वो चलने लगेगा, लेकिन अपर वाली बॉडी तो रुकेगी ना. वो चलना चाहती है लेकिन चल पाएगी नहीं, क्योंकि इसका इनर्शिया ऑफ रेस्ट है. तो जो पैर है वो तो जमीन पे रहेंगे, तो वो चलने लगेंगे, और ऊपर वाला हिस्सा पीछे आ जाएगा.
मतलब एक्शन टाइम के लिए जो फोर्स था वो ऊपर की बॉडी तक ट्रांसमिट नहीं हो पाया था.
नहीं हो पाया.
अच्छा, ओके, चलो ठीक है. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah. Adi,
Yes, so even I have one example.
tell me.
So while cleaning, so we beat a carpet, and then
Hmm.
so the dust particles on it are in the
Hmm.
are in the inertia of rest.
Hmm.
So the carpet moves, but the dust due to inertia of rest are
Hmm.
in that position only, and they are separated and in the air. They're in the air.
Okay.
So then they like come to the ground.
Okay, fine. Means the dust particles were having the inertia of rest, and when you beat the carpet, they will remain in the rest, and the carpet and the dust just get
Separated.
separated out.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, okay. Chalo, great. Okay, Adi, I have one example on the screen. I just one small doubt. So just help me out to clear it. Adi?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So suppose this is a window, glass window, the two sides of the window. Okay, so this is one section and this is your another section. Both are two different sections of a window,
Yes,
glass
sir.
window. Okay, the first section I'm going to hit by a bullet,
Yes, sir.
and the second section I'm going to hit by a ball. I'm just going to throw a ball on it.
Hmm.
Okay, I observe that the first screen has developed a small hole, an exact hole. But
Yes, sir.
when I observe the second side of the glass, I observe that it is cracked to a larger extent.
Yes, sir.
Whereas here the crack was very less, and here the crack was very much. Means it can look like much of damage as compared to the left hand side. So what is the reason for this? Why is it so?
So because bullet has less surface area and ball has more.
Uh, because of that, it will.
So I don't remember.
Okay, chalo, not a problem. Thank you. Still, that has some type of answer.
Yes, so sir, I did it last year. So
Okay, okay, okay. Sure, not a problem. Thank you. Soham, as per you, what you say, what it can be, the exact reason for this?
Sir, I was saying that the bullet has a greater velocity, so maybe the impact time is very less. So uh, the effect is only in that particular area.
Acha, means you meant to say the impact time is very less, so only that much area gets affected. In the second case, the impact time was more, so it got spread in much larger area. Yes, Soham?
Yes, sir. Comparative.
Comparatively. Okay, you can say that, like you are very close to the answer, very close. Thank you. Yeah, Ryan.
Yes, sir, that's what I wanted to say, that the glass, in the case of bullet, gets lesser time to resist to that change that has occurred compared to
Hmm.
the ball. So that's why it cracks more in case of the ball except for the bullet.
Yeah, okay, okay. Chalo. Good one.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we can say in that form, yes, it's about the impact time. So you can say whenever the bullet was trying to move from one side of the glass, that time the impact was so less that to transfer that momentum to the glass is very, very, very less. So since the transfer of momentum was very less, hence very less effect was observed on the left hand side of the glass window. But on the right hand side part, where the ball was hit, the impact time was more. So due to that more impact time, it took more time for the momentum to spread along the area of the glass, due to which we observed a crack on the second surface. It's just about the impact time. Chalo, one more example I have. Anyone related to this? I'll just draw the example once. Like this is even one of the question which usually comes in your MCQs. Like suppose I freely suspend a string, and on that string I am just going to tie some object, and the same string I tie from bottom of the object, and it is again freely suspended. So there are two strings of same material. This is your string 1 and this is your string 2. So I have two strings. So one is being attached to the top and other second one is freely hanging. I'm going to pull string 2. So if I'm trying to pull the string 2, there are two possibilities in which I can pull it. Either I can pull it slowly or I can pull it suddenly. So just tell me, if I pull slowly, which string among first and second will break first? And if I pull it suddenly, which string will break first along with the reason? Yes, Surya.
So if you pull slowly, I guess string 1 should break because you are giving time for the force to be transferred to string 1.
Okay.
While if you pull suddenly, string 2 should break since there's no time given for the transfer to happen.
Okay. Chalo, that you can say, but while pulling it slowly, if you say the same amount of force is going to be transferred to the string 1 as well, correct?
So because ball is also there.
Okay, means you mean to say the application of force is there, but comparatively with the second string, the first string will be having the weight of the ball as well.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
so that will break first.
Yes,
okay, chalo, absolutely correct. Thank you, Surya. Okay, so as per his explanation, absolutely correct. So when we try to pull the second string slowly, the force will get transmitted through the entire string. And when it gets transferred through the entire string, through the bob, through the first, then you can say comparatively the first string will have more force because their weight of the object is also considered. So even if the application of external force on 1 and 2 is same, but one is having more force due to the weight of the object. That is the reason the first will break first before of the second. And when you suddenly give a break, so due to that sudden jerk on the second string, the time for the force to spread throughout the first string doesn't happen, due to which the second string breaks first, as the force is not getting transmitted to the string 1. Yeah, anyone is having any doubt related to it? Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sir, like this, the pendulum, sir, I mean a bob is hanging in a bus, a moving bus. So then we can see that the bob is rotating here and there. So then how come, sir?
Bob is rotating here and there. That is due to inertia of rest.
No, sir. The bob is in. Bob is in rest. Yes.
Bob is in rest, na? So it depends upon the motion of the, because the upper end of the roof is moving.
Yes.
So as per that, the string will show some movement.
Okay.
Yeah. Rana, you can say that. Shaurya, still you have any doubt, or is it clear? So that are the two most examples which are being asked in a theoretical type, like not a numerical pattern, theoretical patterns you can say. One for the spring and other one was for that glass windows. Usual questions for inertia. Okay, so that was your first example, or the first case of inertia of rest. What is the second type? Quickly. Yes, Satakshi, what is the second type?
Inertia of motion.
Okay, and that is also like definition we can see inability to change its uniform motion. So any example quickly?
Sir, Rana's example ले लो.
राना को ले लो.
हाँ, राना का एग्जांपल ले लो सर. बस जा रही है और अचानक से मारा तो.
अच्छा, अगर बस जा रही है और राना को अचानक मारा तो?
नहीं, बस के ड्राइवर ने ब्रेक मारा तो.
अच्छा, ब्रेक से राना को मारा. ओके, चलो समझ गए. तो बस जा रही है और ऊपर से फिर अगर बस को सडनली रुका दे तो सिंस इट इज इन ऑलरेडी इन मोशन, सो द बॉडी विल मूव फॉरवर्ड.
यस सर.
Okay, the feet comes on rest, but the upper body is still in motion, so it will experience a forward push. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo, thank you. So any other example other than that? Anyone? So that is one type of example. आदि कुछ और example है उसके अलावा
Yes, sir.
बताओ.
तो सर अगर मूविंग ट्रेन है एंड स्टेशन पे अप्रोच करने वाली है एंड जब कोई बंदा ट्रेन से कूद के नीचे जाता है while it's
Oh,
moving with the
okay.
so उसके पैर is in inertia of motion as it is in
Okay.
contact with the train.
हाँ.
So when if we मतलब ट्रेन से निकलने के बाद if we stop we tend to fall. It is
Oh,
because
yeah,
of
understood.
because our motion पैर suddenly rest में आ जाते हैं.
अच्छा.
And अगर हम like निकलने के बाद भागना शुरू करें so we don't tend to fall. So
Okay.
even that's an example.
Okay, chalo, that's great. Perfect example. So you might, I think so. You have experienced this.
No, sir.
Yeah, no, I understood that. Chalo, take Adi. Thank you for the example. Any other example than that? I have just one example. If anyone could help me out. Yeah, Sharvin, if I roll a ball on frictionless floor, it will continue to roll forever. Yeah, Sharvin, that we can say because there is no opposing force acting on it. Yeah, Rana, tell me, what is your one more example?
हाँ सर.
बताओ.
हाँ सर, वो फुगड़ी का गेम खेला है क्या आपने, गोल गोल घूमने वाला?
नहीं, मैं नहीं खेलता ऐसी चीजें.
अरे बचपन में खेला है वो तो सर. चलो सर, तो मतलब एक आदमी एक जगह पे खड़ा होकर रोटेट कर रहा है, बहुत तेज तेज रोटेट कर रहा है, ठीक है, और थोड़े टाइम बाद अगर वो रुक जाता है फिर भी उसका सर घूमते ही रहता है. हाँ, तो इससे हमें ये पता चलता है कि ऐसा इसलिए क्योंकि सर उसका टेंडेंसी ऑफ बॉडी है कि वो उसको घूमना ही है. तो मतलब वो पहले घूम रहा था, अब वो रुक गया, फिर भी उसको ऐसा नॉर्मली चलने पे भी लगेगा कि सब घूम रहा है.
Okay. So that's type of feeling. तो internal of the body you can say जो उसमें वो inertia of motion अभी भी चल रहा है.
हाँ सर, मम्मी कभी मारती है ना तो ऐसे समझ में आता है कि अभी चल रहा था, अभी रुक कैसे गया अचानक से, फिर घूमने लगता है.
ठीक है, experienced. Okay, चलो. Sir, a stone tied to a string is rotated. Okay, chalo, just tell me one thing, that why a person while taking a long jump, he runs for a certain distance than takes a long jump. Also, the same thing we observe in cricket also. So if a person wants to bowl a ball with a higher pace, he takes a long run before throwing the ball or during bowling. Why is this so? Yeah, Richard.
Sir, to gain momentum.
Achha, to gain momentum. But what happens due to that?
Sir, when he gains momentum, so it becomes easy to throw the ball fast.
Okay, and while the long jump?
Sir, for long jump, I can't explain.
अच्छा, तो उधर बॉल फेंक रहे हैं, यहाँ पे खुद को फेंकना है.
हाँ सर, वैसे भी समझ सकते हैं.
The same like the same type of concept. There we are throwing something, and here we are going to lift our body and going to push our role.
Yes, sir.
Towards the ground.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Chalo. ठीक है. Thank you, Archit. So directly we can say the long run is just going to add the inertia of motion. During the long jump, it will add to the inertia of motion when we try to lift our body to have that jump. And during bowling, we take a long run, so that due to that long run, some inertia of motion will be added to that ball, so that the ball will gain extra velocity. Yeah, Adi.
Sir, there's one more example related to the long jump.
So,
sir, if you notice, a person while taking long jump lands in sand. It is because if to take some time to come to rest. If he straight away comes to rest, then it will hurt his feet. So he maintains his inertia of motion, and then
fine.
Comes to rest.
So just to have that inertia of motion for some time, it is related.
Yes,
but that is actually related to your change in state. So that change in state will be included under your Newton's second law because you're changing it now. The motion is going to come to rest. Only the thing is like you are giving a fraction of time, like you are giving it more time to reduce it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, chalo, take it, not a problem. Okay, so the third one is inertia of direction. We'll have the ability of direction. So any example based on this? One or two? Pankaj, quickly tell me. Yeah, Surya.
So when a car swerves around a turn, that time
Huh?
we get forced towards the window on the opposite side.
In the outward direction, you can say.
Yes, sir. Because
Okay, fine.
our body wants to maintain its direction while the car is moving. So
Taking a
with
turn.
respect to actually our body is maintaining, upper body is maintaining direction, but our feet are moving with respect to it. So it feels like we're pushed outwards.
We are pushed outward from upper side.
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo, perfect, Surya. So one is like when we experience while the car is taking a turn. Pankaj, any other example?
यस सर वो राणा का एग्जांपल ले लेंगे. तो अगर हम लोग फुगड़ी खेल रहे हैं तो
हाँ.
अगर घुमाते घुमाते किसी को छोड़ दिया तो सर वो अपना
राणा को छोड़ दिया.
हाँ ठीक है सर. तो वो अपना इनर्शिया ऑफ डायरेक्शन से अपना डायरेक्शन मेंटेन करने की कोशिश करेगा.
Okay, means it will move in which direction? Inward, outward, tangential, how?
Tangential सर, क्योंकि वो सर ऊपर की तरफ घूमेगा ना.
Okay, fine. Yeah, perfect. So means that is the way that is the same example if you take with the stone tied to a string and if you try to revolve it, और अगर string को cut कर दे तो the stone will fly off tangentially, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, absolutely correct. Thank you, Pankaj. So like in most of the circular motion, you can take that example. Yeah, Sharvin, even that example is perfect. Ball hit by a bat when you hit in the different direction with certain velocity. Yeah. Bhupen, you want to give any other example?
Sir, like the falling of coin kept on a card.
Falling of coin kept on a
card.
Kept on a card.
To the beaker, sir.
Acha, that we try to move it suddenly.
Yes.
Then that
yes,
coin
sir.
falls. That means inertia of rest.
Sir, but the coin shares why can't the coin shares the motion once, sir?
No, because you're suddenly moving it. When you suddenly try to move the card, the fraction of time, like the time it takes for the force to get transferred to the coin, because they are in contact. If the transfer time is very, very less, obviously the force won't get transferred to the coin. And since force is not getting transferred, the coin will remain at rest, because at the end, if it wants to change its state, it needs some external force.
Yes, sir.
But if you try to slowly move, so due to low motion, what happens? The force gets transferred to the coin easily due to their contact.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, welcome. Satakshi?
One more example.
Tell me.
Random example. If we are running at a really high, not really high speed, but with a great speed, and someone just comes and pushes us from a random direction.
Someone means specifically कोई? किसी direction में?
Sorry, sir.
किसी specific direction में you need to push, like अगर सामने से भाग के आ रहे तो like you say that in some different directions we need to go, left, right, वैसे, not in the same direction, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. चलो good, चलेगा वो भी. So that can also be one of the example of inertia of direction. So many examples we did. So all these examples are related to the subjective type questions which comes usually related to your first law of motion. Now the second law of motion, quickly we'll just go. The statement, someone help me out quickly. Yeah, Surya, tell me.
Sir, actually I wanted to say something for the previous one, inertia of direction.
Tell me.
For projectile motion also, in the horizontal direction there is no force, right? So it sorry, in general it just stays the same. The velocity, the direction, everything stays the same.
Okay, means forward momentum, you can say it remains the same. So it is
Remains
maintaining
the
the
same.
inertia of direction
Yes.
for the forward motion.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, correctly. You can say that. Thank
Okay,
you.
so second law, do I say?
Yeah, you can say. Tell me.
So the rate of change of momentum of an object is directly proportional to the external unbalanced force being applied on it.
Okay, fine. Chalo, absolutely correct, Surya. Okay, so the statement wise, we have that rate of change of momentum depends upon the external, and also, since it's a vector, the given change always takes place in the direction of the applied force. What's the formula? Because one formula to we already know based on your assumptions. So if I just say mass m, velocity v, linear momentum p, force f. So how will you convert this statement into the mathematical form? The final equation I know. Final equation is correct. F is equal to ma. All three of you. Yeah, Rana.
हाँ सर, तो क्या करेंगे हम लोग, पहले कोई हमारा इनिशियल मोमेंटम ले लेंगे.
ओके.
mu ले लो सर उसको.
अच्छा. ओके, आई विल टेक इनिशियल एस mu देन.
हाँ, कोई फाइनल मोमेंटम ले लेंगे सर हम लोग.
ओके, mv देन.
और सर चेंज किसी मतलब पार्टिकुलर टाइम के लिए डिफाइन होता है. हाँ, तो सर अगर हम लोग उसको t ले लिया, तो हम लोग चेंज लेंगे सर mv माइनस mu अपॉन t.
ओके. इसके बाद
पूरे को t से डिवाइड करना है.
ओके, एंटायरली बाय t. अच्छा, आफ्टर दैट
उसके बाद m कॉमन ले लो सर. फिर मिल गया m v माइनस u अपॉन t, तो एक्सेलरेशन होता है. हो गया.
ओके, सो दिस वे मतलब तुमने उसको मैथमेटिकल टर्म्स में कन्वर्ट कर दिया. बट ये तो हमने 9th में पढ़ा था ना.
हाँ सर, तो
समथिंग न्यू इन 10th, कुछ डिफरेंट. लास्ट वाला तो इज सेम, दिस फॉर्मूला इज सेम, बट दिस अप्रोच जो ये यूज किया है ना, rather than using this approach, कोई और अप्रोच है क्या टू रीच योर MA? दिस इज बेसिक अप्रोच जो हमने लास्ट ईयर 10th में भी 9th में भी वी डिड फॉर स्कूल सिलेबस पैटर्न. कोई और वे ऑफ रिप्रेजेंटेशन so that by different representation we can arrive to formula MA, ऐसा कुछ राना याद आ रहा है?
सोचता हूँ सर, थोड़ा समय लगेगा.
ओके, चलो सोच लो फिर मेरे को बताओ. या सूर्य, I got your answer from the chat.
Yes, sir. So, is the rate of change? So, rate of change. So, if the force, this is only for constant force, right? So, if the force was changing, it would be different at each point in time. So, we'll have to use derivatives.
Okay.
So, we can use the derivative operator with respect to time on momentum. So, d by dt mv.
Okay, so means you mean to say it will be something like this.
Yeah.
F proportional to dp by dt.
Yes, sir. And then usually we take mass as constant. Sometimes it's not, but usually it's constant. So then if we take m out, it's just a scalar. So the derivative, it's a constant. So we can take it out of the operator. And so then we get dv by dt, which is nothing but acceleration.
Okay, chalo, absolutely correct. So that one approach we can have using the calculus. Correct. So as you said, so the rate of change. So just look at the statement which we did in velocity and acceleration as well in kinematics. Whenever we have this rate, word as rate means differentiating anything with respect to time. So it's rate of change of linear momentum. So linear momentum is changing, so that becomes dp by dt. And the proportionality sign can be replaced by a constant k. When you compare with the units, experimentally it was found that the k value is 1 in your SI and CJ system, due to which the formula became F is equal to dp by dt. Then later on you can replace your momentum formula as mv. Now there are two possible cases after that. Not every time mass is constant and not every time velocity is constant. So if I say mass is constant, then you can take mass outside the operator and you can directly relate it as dv by dt, and change in velocity by time, that is the rate of change of velocity, is defined as acceleration, from which we finally conclude the formula as force is mass into acceleration. This condition occurs when mass is considered to be constant. Mass is not changing. But we have some examples in which mass of the body also changes. There is rate of change of mass also. Yes, Surya, you're correct. It's rocket. So if we say the mass is changing, so that time the entire formula in that velocity will come outside, and inside it will be dm by dt. So even that is a formula. So as you have F is equal to m dv by dt with rate of change of velocity as acceleration. At the same time, we have v times dm by dt, where dm by dt is rate of change of mass. Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sir, can we use the formula in this?
Which formula, dear?
Differentiation formula.
That only formula we use. Na? So in this case, what will happen if momentum they give in terms of time, an equation in terms of time. So that time if they ask you to find the force, then you need to use a differential formula, calculus.
Okay. Sir, then we have to use the graph also.
Area under the graph.
Yes, sir.
Area under the graph will also come. If they are asking, if they are giving you force versus time graph, that is actually going to come in this chapter. If they give you force versus time graph, then you find out something change in momentum. So that is area under the graph, F into dt.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, Shravan.
Sir, in both the cases, however, we have to use the formula dv upon dt equals to acceleration, right?
In both the formulas, not only in one formula, where mass I'm considering it as constant.
Sir,
If I'm not,
Sir, if the mass is changing constantly, then even then the formula would be like F is equal to dm upon dt multiplied by dv upon dt.
No. At one time, you cannot apply operator on both the functions. That will become u into v rule. So that time the formula becomes m dv by dt plus v times dm by dt. Means the operator acts on a function only one at a time. So if you say that during a motion both the quantities are changing, mass is also changing and velocity is also changing, so that time the entire force formula will become m times dv by dt plus v times dm by dt. Yeah, so the
So
entire formula will
basically we will
addition
get
both.
ma plus ma.
No, we will get ma plus v times dm by dt.
Okay, sir. But then also, okay, dm by dt has any specific
No, that is
value?
just rate of change of mass. That's it.
So
Kgs
that
per
will be a
second.
constant.
That will be a constant. They will specify, as if in the example of rocket, they say na, during propulsion, some of the mass of some fuel gets burned at a certain rate. So fuel burns at a certain rate. That means something mass is getting reduced per second.
Sir, it would have been better if they taught us this concept in 9th standard, sir, because there were a lot of rocket questions in the kinematics. And
Yeah, the propulsion examples.
Sir, is there any other way to solve rocket questions?
No, only like change in momentum only we have the way to get those questions.
Okay.
Because there is a change in mass and velocity. No? So it is related to mass and velocity. So it is related to your conservation of momentums.
Okay, sir. So now in the previous example, we got m as constant. Here we will get v dm by dt as constant.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Anant, tell me.
Sir, I didn't understand. How did you write that F is equal to d by dt?
How I got F is equal
F is equal to d upon dt mv.
this one. I substituted the formula of momentum. Momentum is mass into velocity. P is your momentum, and momentum was defined as mass into velocity. Okay, Dhruv, I will just write it down. Yeah, Shravan.
Sir, in the formula which you told me, for when both the quantities are changing, Is there plus sign or multiplication sign?
Plus sign. See, I've just represented the
So
formula.
because if it's a plus sign, then we'll get as MA plus K, then the formula will change now.
Why the
By
formula
adding
will
a
change?
constant, and we got constant as 1.
No,
So we
no,
will
that
get
is that constant was related when we related the formula for dp by dt. So initially it was constant k, but later on momentum you replaced as mass into velocity, and in that if you say mass and velocity both are changing
then the
respectively.
constant will become 0. Okay, sir. So here the second example constant is 0. Oops.
Yeah, so it's directly m dv by dt plus v dm by dt. That's it. Yeah, Dhruv, I just wrote the formula you said. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you write the derivation for this formula?
There is no derivation. It's just you can say the operator d by dt acts on one function at a time. It cannot act on both the functions. Means you cannot write dm by dt into dv by dt parallelly. So if it acts only one at a time, so first it will act only m. That time v will behave as constant, and then it will act on v where it will behave where m will behave as a constant.
So, sir, why is it necessary that if one quantity is changing, then the other should be constant?
No, that they specify accordingly. Suppose in rocket example also, they tell that the certain mass or the fuel is getting burned and the rocket is moving with certain velocity. They don't say
Yes.
it is accelerating or something.
Okay.
So
And if the
that time
body
if
is
they
accelerating
specify,
also?
so that time we need to just relate this formula because it will be ma plus v times dm by dt. So we need to use this term where it will be related to how much mass is getting reduced at what velocity. So certain mass is getting reduced. So that mass will be having certain velocity, emission velocity. So that will be included over here.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and this will be the pushing force. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Surya.
Sir, what you said about the previous one, sir, v dm by dt is not necessarily constant, because if v dm by dt was constant, then m dv by dt would be 0. So both of them are changing.
V dm by dt is constant.
Yes, sir. If v dm by dt was a constant, then dv by
But who
dt would
said
be 0,
that is
right?
constant? That depends upon the force, no?
Yes, sir. So that's not necessary, no, sir.
No.
Yeah, okay, sir. Because that previously you said it was constant. So then also for rocket equation, we have for both mass and velocity changing, we have equations for that also, right?
Yeah. And that time we define that whatever the mass is getting ejected out, that velocity we consider in that relation. So they
Yes, sir,
usually
then-
ask us the force of emission.
Yes.
The force of
okay, sir.
emission depends upon the rate at which mass is being released with a certain velocity. So that velocity is constant with which the mass is getting reduced at a certain rate. So that time we
Yes,
use
sir.
the formula V times dm by dt.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Pankaj?
Sir, nothing. By mistake.
Okay. Yeah, Bhupen?
Sir. Sir, in the rocket equation, sir, sir, it is given, sir, the rocket equation is based on the third law of motion, no?
The change in momentum.
Rocket equation is based on?
That is based on the law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum is a combined equation of your second and third law.
Okay, sir, but that mdv, sir, you have written the formula that if the mass is constant, then plus velocity is constant. That formula you have written, no, sir? Opposite to force is equal to mass into acceleration. Sir, sir, then what this formula means, sir?
This means that the particular person is applying a force on a certain mass.
Sir, I was asking that the another formula that you have written, no, sir. V
This one?
dv upon, no, sir, that the formula you have written downward.
Acha, earlier which was written?
Yes.
That is nothing but when they state that whatever the ejecting rate is there, that is accelerating, that is changing. So whenever the
So that
particular
we have to
fuel is getting
calculate.
burnt.
So that we have to calculate the force only with that
Yeah,
formula.
force only, because what is happening when the mass is getting ejected out of the rocket, that is creating a downward force, due to which it creates an upward force. So that becomes your Newton's third law of motion, due to which the rocket moves.
Yes.
And the transfer of momentum, this force was generated due to the change in momentum, right? And if they say that the mass is getting burnt at a certain rate, which is increasing, the rate is changing, the rate is increasing, means whatever the particles are getting emitted, that velocity is also increasing. So that time they will
Yes.
provide you the condition between mass and velocity. So that time we can substitute and try to differentiate that equation.
Okay, sir.
Understood? So that
Yes.
mass will be given in terms of time, velocity will also be given in terms of time. When you multiply, you will get a new equation, due to which if you differentiate, the entire equation will be terms of time. So after applying the calculus formula, you will get the force applied. Because in that case, both the things were happening. It was accelerating also, mass was also changing, and the velocity was also changing. You understood how the numerical will look like?
Okay,
No?
sir.
Mass will also be
Yeah,
given in
just-
terms of time equation. Velocity
sir.
will be given in terms of time equation. If you
Yeah.
need, you just multiply them, you will get a new time equation.
Okay, sir.
Momentum. Then that
Yeah.
directly you can differentiate using the calculus formula.
Okay, sir. So that formula is given in rocket equation.
That is not given in rocket equation. That is just related to the force. So you can say that is one of the application to derive your rocket equation.
Okay, sir.
Because a rocket equation is based on both the fundas. It is developing about it is talking about the development of force by Newton's second law, and the reverse force, which is acting equal and opposite, that is your Newton's third law.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Shravan?
Yes, sir. But to just find the force exerted on the rocket when it ejects mass at a constant rate and moves with the velocity which is changing, we can directly use the formula of derivation. No, sir, which you have gave, like m d upon dt v plus v d upon dtm.
Yeah, so that only I said they won't give you different values, numbers. Whenever it is calculus, d by dt,
They will
the
give
mass
us,
and velocity will be given in terms of time.
okay,
They
sir,
will
they will
give
give
you
us
the
like 3
equation.
t square plus 5t kind of
Yeah,
equation.
absolutely correct. They will give you in terms of time. The equations will be provided. So if you need, you solve them separately as m times dv by dt and v times dm by dt, or else you just multiply the two equations, get the momentum, and then that momentum you directly differentiate. So both the ways you can solve, a final answer will come to as the same thing because it is calculus operator.
Sir, and if they give the mass and velocity as a constant, sir, then the force applied would become zero, sir.
Will become zero. Yeah. If it is constant, the force will become zero because the change is not happening. If change is not happening, means the amount of force required will be zero.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Clear now, entire thing? Okay, so anyone else want to ask anything, any confusion you all have? So there are some few numericals based on this. So I'm just moving to the numericals part. If anyone don't want to ask anything now. Okay. So here's the first question. So I hope now after the explanation of the Newton's second law more briefly, this example will become simple now. Yes, anyone, just raise the hand. I will just unmute you. Yeah, Surya.
Yes, sir. So in this case, since velocity is constant, of ejection. So then we will have F is equal to V times dm by dt.
Okay.
And dm by dt is again a constant, which is 0.05 kilograms times 400 meters per second,
Okay.
which will give us which will give us two newtons, I guess.
2 or 20?
20. Yeah, 20.
Decimal will get cancelled. Yeah? 2 decimal and 2 zeros will get cancelled. 4 5 is 20. Yeah. So chalo, the application of formula is absolutely correct, Surya. So I think that now the concepts are clear. Yeah, Ryan.
Sir, we can also like it's almost the same thing, but we can also use the units to calculate the answer, right?
Yeah, you can use the unit also to calculate the answer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But just have the correct approach.
Yeah, because it's like kg, then meters per second square,
Yeah.
per second. I know.
Yes. Yeah, Bhupen.
Sir.
Hmm?
Sir, but the question is given that we have to calculate the accelerating force
on the rocket.
Yes, sir, but the formula is given as momentum is equal to mass into velocity.
Which formula?
That 0.05 kg into 400 meter per second.
No, 0.05 is nothing but kg per second. The rate is given per second. So it is
kg
change
per
in
second.
mass per second. dm by dt is given.
Okay,
so they're
dm
telling
by dt.
you.
Okay, sir.
They're telling you per second how much mass is getting ejected out.
Okay, sir.
And the ejection is at a constant velocity of 400 meter per second. So see, velocity is constant and your mass is changing.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Surya.
Sir, but if we had to calculate acceleration, it wouldn't be so straightforward, right? Because the mass of the rocket itself will be changing, and then
that
we'd have to
that time they won't ask you the acceleration. So they will tell you the acceleration at a certain time interval when this much mass. Because if you know that the mass of the rocket is something around 1 ton, and
Yes,
if I
sir.
say after 10 seconds, sorry, not 10 seconds, you will just take after 1 hour, like that. 1 hour, or you
Sir.
can say 50, 100 seconds. How much is the acceleration of the rocket?
So I think the formula was RU by something like that. Like you have to take rate of ejection. So we had to take into account rate of ejection, initial mass, time,
Yeah,
and
different mass.
initial velocity.
Yes, it's RU by M minus RT.
Yes, sir, something like that.
So that is the same, because when I said after 100 seconds, so you need to just check out how much mass is getting reduced. So how much mass
Okay,
is
sir.
getting reduced, just multiply the rate with value of 100. So that becomes RT, that is mass reduced.
Yes,
the
sir.
total mass minus mass reduced will be the remaining mass.
Yes, sir.
So the force upon the remaining mass will give you the acceleration.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Bhupen.
Sir, but the question is given that that velocity is constant, sir.
Yeah, at a velocity of 400 meter per second. They haven't specified that the velocity is changing.
Sir, but it is changing. Sorry. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Swagatam, the accelerating force is 20 Newton. It's not 400 meter per second square. 400 meter per second is given as the constant velocity with which the particular mass is coming out. That dm by dt is nothing but the rate is given. Anirudh, we are not differentiating. When we say dm by dt, that is rate of change of mass. Because Piyush, we had that formula d by dt of mv. Now velocity is constant, it will come out of the derivative operator. So it will be v times dm by dt. I explained in the last section. Yes, Swagatam. Okay, so here's the next question. Just clear the screen. So this was pretty simple. Force of 5 Newton acts on a body of weight 9.8 Newton. What is the acceleration produced? Which direction, Aryan? No, direction of the forces, nothing is specified. Yeah, Shatakshi?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Tell me quickly.
Sir, I took weight as mg
Hmm.
and mg is equal to 9.8 Newton. So by g as 9.8, I got mass as 1.
Okay.
And then F is equal to ma, so 5 is equal to 1 into A, and then A is
Okay. So phi is equal to 1 into A. So directly you will get the acceleration as 5 meter per second square, correct? Okay, chalo, that's simple. Okay, thank you, Satakshi. Swagatam.
Yes, sir.
Tell me for example 3.
What will the experiment require in Newton to keep the boat moving? Sir, cables are drained.
बोलो.
Sir, एक second. What will be the extra? सर इसमें सर एक्स्ट्रा फोर्स रिक्वायर्ड सर वो जितना फोर्स वो एग्जर्ट कर रहा है ग्रेवल्स उतना ही होगा ना.
हाँ, ग्रेवल्स का ही फोर्स, उनको वही कहना है एक्स्ट्रा फोर्स, मतलब जो ग्रेवल्स का फोर्स है वो.
हाँ सर, तो फिर फोर्स इज इक्वल टू वो उसका सर उसका डी मतलब dm by dt वो 0.5 kg/s दिया हुआ है. और
फॉर्मूला क्या आएगा?
सर वेलोसिटी वो है 2 मीटर पर सेकंड कांस्टेंट पे चलाते रहना है. इसलिए 2 into 0.5 तो 1 न्यूटन.
या करेक्ट. तो मतलब जो फर्स्ट फॉर्मूला था द सेम, करेक्ट? ओके. Okay, so the answer will be 1 Newton. It's the same formula. Vinoti?
Yes, sir, I got my mistake.
Achha, you got your mistake.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Chalo, try the next one. As you said fourth, so you try the fourth one now.
Okay, sir.
Man weighing 80 kg standing on a trolley weighing 320 kg. Trolley is resting on frictionless horizontal rails. Man starts walking on the trolley with a speed. Then after 4 seconds, what will be his displacement relative to the ground?
100. No, sir.
Once you're ready, Minoti, let me know in the chat.
Yes, sir. I need.
Yeah. You just take time, not a problem. You just let me know just once you get the answer. Okay, Shravan is saying is 4. No, Karthik. That much is not the answer. That is too big, Karthik. No, Vinayak. No, Pranay. Whoever are calculating, just remember answer is less than 10. Yeah, Ryan?
Sir, so we don't know the velocity of the trolley?
No.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yatharth, I said answer is less than 10. No, Ishan. No, Sheikh. Ryan, it's more than 0. No, Ishan. Divya, you're pretty close. It's not a perfect answer. It's in the decimal form, but you're very near to the answer, Divya. No, Yatharth. No, Ishan. नहीं राना. No, Pranay. Speed is with respect to the ground given. Surya. No, Vinayak. Answer is more than 1, less than 10. Piyush, you are very close to the answer, but the answer is in the decimal form. Yes, Pankaj, you are correct. No, Vinayak. So 2 correct answers till now I have got. So Anav and Pankaj, both of your answers are correct. One from Pavai and one from Nerul. Yeah, Aditya, even you are correct. No, Ryan. So 2 answers we got correct from Nerul, one from Pavai. No, Vedant. Chalo, Pavai, one more correct answer. Yeah, Ryan, you are correct now. No, Bhupen. Anav?
Yes, sir.
Chalo, tell me.
So we'll apply conservation of momentum.
So you applied
So,
conservation of momentum. Okay.
yes, so the mass of the man is 80 and his velocity is 1. And the mass of the trolley plus the man will be 400 into its velocity we'll take as x.
Okay.
So we'll get x as 0.2.
Okay.
So the trolley will move 0.2 meter in the opposite direction per second. So in 4 seconds it will move 0.8 meters. And the
0.8 meter.
And the man moves 4 meter in the forward direction. So his displacement will be 4 minus 0.8.
Okay, so the man is moving 4 meter in the same direction. है ना?
Yes.
And trolley is moving 0.8 meter in the backward direction. So the answer will be 3.2 meter. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, chalo, correct. Yes, Surya.
So, but you said his velocity with respect to the ground is 1 meter per second, right?
Yeah.
So that means he should be moving forward. He should have moved 4 meters because it's with respect to ground.
Yeah, with respect to ground is moving 4 meter. And
So he
0.8
should
meter,
move-
the trolley is also moving, na? Backward.
Yes, sir. So with respect to trolley, what's his displacement? No, but it has displacement relative to ground, right?
Yeah.
If velocity relative to ground
So that is
is
the
1 meter
total
per second,
displacement, na? So if we just consider the trolley is resting, so obviously he has covered 4 meter ahead with respect to the ground.
yes, sir.
But now the trolley has moved 8.8 meter back. So effectively, if you talk about, so 2 vectors are acting na simultaneously.
Yes, sir. I understood that the trolley is moving 0.8 meters, but the 4 meters should be including the trolley moving back because 1 meter per second is with respect to ground.
Yeah, 1
including
meter per
the
second is with respect to the ground, irrespective
sir,
of the
the
walk.
1 meter per second it should be his velocity with respect to trolley minus velocity of trolley.
No.
So because it's with respect to ground, right?
Yeah, it is with respect to ground. So
So
that
his
time we consider
velocity
the
will
trolley is
be.
at rest. So
So,
that
but if
assumption.
he is already moving, then trolley must also be moving.
So that only you applied, na? The momentum has got shifted. The momentum of the entire body.
So what I'm saying is his velocity with respect to trolley is minus velocity of trolley should be 1 meter per second because you're changing the reference frame, right?
So in that case, so velocity will be less than.
So his velocity will be less than his velocity with respect to trolley.
That
But
will become
here
1
it's
minus 0.2 as per your.
but what I'm saying is
Hmm.
his velocity with respect to ground is given, so his velocity with respect to trolley is greater than 1 meter per second, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're saying with respect to ground, then displacement with respect to ground, you can just take that itself as the velocity, right, and multiply it by time.
No, you're not getting the point. It is displacement means there are two vectors acting already, no, on the boy. So when they say a man is walking on the trolley at a certain speed of 1 meter per second, that time they
And
have
trolley is
assumed
also
that the trolley is at rest. No, they haven't sped 1 meter per second with respect to the trolley.
Yes, sir.
They're assuming that the trolley is
So
at
that's
rest.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm also saying. If it's 1 meter per second with respect to ground and not trolley, then that on its own should be enough to give us displacement, right? Because
but the entire
when you
trolley
say
is
with
also
respect to
moving,
ground,
na?
you're including everything, right? When you say with
So
respect to
I'm
ground, you have to
including the
include
word
everything.
also 1 meter per second when the trolley is assumed to be at rest. But the
So, but
trolley
then
is
that's not
resting on a
possible.
horizontal. No, that is
But then you
possible.
can't
If the
assume at rest
trolley,
because if he is moving, trolley must also move.
no, but if the trolley is resting on a frictioned horizontal rails, then what you will say?
Then he can move without
Yeah.
the trolley
So
moving.
that time
But
also
here
the
it said
question will say the
frictionless
same
also.
thing. So that time also they will specify the same statement. Even if it is given over here, the trolley is resting on frictioned horizontal rails.
Yes,
And
sir.
if they will specify if the man starts walking on the trolley with a speed of 1 meter per second, that time also for the observer, it is 1
Yes,
meter
sir.
per second with respect to the ground only.
Yes, sir.
But since the trolley is not resting on a frictioned horizontal rails, it is being on the frictionless.
Yes, sir.
So that time there will be a relative motion of the trolley as well.
Exactly, sir. My point is, what I'm saying is that since it's frictionless, we cannot say that if he is moving, we cannot say that when he starts moving, trolley is not moving, right? Because they must both simultaneously start moving. So when you say 1 meter per second, assuming trolley is at rest, that's not possible, right?
But that the condition they have specified, that is possible. Because if you talk about with respect to the trolley, the speed is 1.2 meter per second with respect to the trolley on this frictionless horizontal rails. If I just talk about that, along with me, the trolley is also moving. If I
Yes, sir.
specify, then I need to specify 1.2 meter per second with respect to the trolley. Yeah.
Exactly, sir. So then if it's 1.2 meters per second with respect to trolley, then with respect to trolley, the displacement will be 1.2 times 4, right? So 4.8.
Yeah.
So with respect to trolley, 4.8, trolley moves backwards 8.8 meters. So displacement with respect to ground becomes 4 meters. See, sir, even by your method, we get the same
No,
thing.
that is with relatively with respect to the trolley, no? So it is covering more distance. But the displacement, if you talk about in that case, okay, so that is only with respect to the trolley you are getting.
Yes,
And
sir.
the
So with
0.8
respect to
meter,
trolley is
the 0.8 meter which you're
4.8, right?
talking about, that is with respect to the ground.
Yes,
so
sir.
how you can
So,
compare two different references, frame
no,
of
no, so I'm
references?
saying to change the reference frame. Okay, so I'll just say it again. 1.2 times 4 will give us with respect to trolley, right?
Yeah. So
Right.
that is 4.8
1.2 times 4
meter.
with respect to trolley.
This is he
4.8
covered on the
meters,
trolley.
right?
Yeah.
But the trolley is moving backwards at a velocity of 0.2 meters per second. So trolley will have traveled backwards 0.8 meters.
With respect to ground.
With respect to ground.
Huh.
Right. So to change your reference frame, you have to subtract the velocity of the you have to subtract the velocity of the train reference frame, right, to go to ground reference frame.
But you're comparing two different frame of references. How we can subtract two
so
values?
that's what I'm saying, sir. I'm not comparing. I'm changing the reference frame, right? The reference frame you change by adding the velocities, right? Of let's say one reference frame is moving with respect to another, and then there's an object moving with respect to that reference frame, right? So if you have reference frame 1, 2, and an object, 2 is moving with respect to 1, right? So to get the velocity of the object with, the velocity of object with respect to 2. So to get velocity of object with respect to 1, you would subtract the velocity of 2, right? Right, so that's what you're doing here, right?
But here when you talk about as 4.8 meter, he is walking that much distance on the trolley.
On the trolley, and trolley has moved
because
back
that is with
0.8
respect to the
meters.
trolley. That is like you can say that is your non-inertial frame of reference when you are already present on the trolley.
So, but the trolley is at a constant speed, so we can take it as inertial.
But you are already on the trolley. You are experiencing an opposite reaction force, which you are applying on the trolley. So with respect to the trolley, the relative speed, if I compare, it will cover more distance on it. But you cannot compare at the same time one value on the trolley and one value on the ground. Because when you talk about 0.8 meter, that is with respect to the ground.
Yes, sir.
And when you talk about 4.8 meter, that is the person's value with respect to the trolley. So how you can compare one with respect to the trolley and one with respect to the ground and then subtract the two? That will be two different frame of references, which is not possible. Either for the entire calculation you take only on the trolley, or you take the entire calculation on the ground.
Yes, sir. So then if you take entire calculation on the ground, then just take 1 meter per second, 4 seconds, and get 4 meters.
So that only we got now 1 meter per second. That was a person moved ahead, but at the same time the person was standing on the trolley, and the trolley also moved
So, but then
backward
now
0.8
you are
meter.
going to the trolley's frame of reference. You cannot.
No, I'm not going trolley reference. Where I'm going with trolley reference.
So because then you're saying trolley also moves back, but we don't want to think about the trolley only.
If suppose this is a trolley, just take if this is a trolley, and this is a person standing on it. Okay, if you are on the ground, if the trolley is not moving, okay, you just consider it is not moving and the speed is given as 1 meter per second, because that is the speed which the man is going to walk. Okay, with respect to the ground, that is my speed that I am going to walk with 1 meter per second only.
So initially it's 1 meter per second, but trolley is not moving.
For trolley not moving or move whatever, but suppose I assume that trolley is not moving. So if it goes for 1 meter per second, if I just compare this as the initial point, okay?
Yes, sir.
So if the trolley is not moving, that means this person has moved how much forward distance? He had moved 4 meter.
4 meter,
correct?
yes.
Okay, but what is happening since the trolley is resting on a smooth surface?
Yes,
so
sir.
when he was trying to move, there was a backward momentum was shifted on the trolley, right?
So trolley was moving back.
Backward
But his
means the
speed
trolley.
with respect to the ground.
No, just listen. So this one you understood that it is 4 meter. He is going to move ahead. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This was the point of reference. Here was the person standing. He was measuring the displacement with respect to that person. Now, since the trolley is going to move back, so how much the trolley has displaced back? The trolley has displaced back by 0.8 meter. Here, it has gone 0.8 meter backward. Yeah, with respect to ground, it has moved backward. So even if the person with trolley as rest, if he is going 4 meter ahead, but since the trolley was moving 0.8 meter back, so obviously the 4 meter which the person has to actually reach at this point, he won't reach at that point. He will reach only at this point.
Okay, sir.
So the trolley had moved 0.8 back.
Yes, sir. And if they were happening, sir, so now you are saying that first he moves forward and then you're considering the trolley moving back, right?
Yes.
So, but then if you think about it simultaneously, while
both
they're
are
moving
happening simultaneously only.
Yes, sir. So while they're moving simultaneously, the person with respect to ground is at 4 meters, including his the backward movement because of the trolley. Including that is 4 meters per second, right? 1 meter per second. That's my point. If he's moving, if we're saying with respect to ground, then we have to include that backward velocity of trolley already. So actual velocity with respect to trolley will be 4.2, but with respect to ground is 4. So displacement with respect to trolley will be 4.8, but with ground it will be 4 only. Is what I'm
You
saying.
mean to say whatever 1 meter per second is given, that is with respect to the trolley?
With respect to ground, so since it's with respect to ground, it is including the backward motion of trolley also.
So that only I said 1 meter per second is with respect to the ground.
So if it's
Whatever they have
including the motion
specified.
of the trolley, it doesn't matter what motion
No,
the
even
trolley has.
even
Right?
if you don't take the motion of the trolley, the value of 1 meter per second is going to remain the same. Only the difference will be he will move 4 meter ahead. But since the trolley was resting on smooth surface, the trolley itself moved back by 0.8.
Yes, sir. While the trolley
Obviously, there
was
is a
moving back,
reduction.
his velocity was 1 meter per second.
While or while not, both the case you
While
consider.
moving, yes, sir. So while the trolley was moving back, his velocity was 1 meter per second. So whether so while it was moving back, if it's 1 meter per second, then he covered 4 meters only.
He's covering 4 meter only. But parallelly, the entire trolley is moving back. I'm just talking for the person who is standing right away over here. You are considering for the person who is standing on the trolley. And I am asking the question for the person who is standing at this point. For him, what is the displacement? It is relative to the ground. It is for the person who is on the ground. For him, where the person has got displaced, that I need to find out. And what you are relating is absolutely correct for the person on the trolley, for himself.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm still not able to see from that perspective. So can
Just
I
try
discuss later
to
with you?
recollect. Yeah, you can just discuss later, not a problem. You can just give me a call, and not a problem. You just read the question once. Whatever the stats, again you get some, or just try to define the question bit differently as
Yes,
per
sir.
your understanding, and let me know. We'll just try to discuss, no problem. But
Yes,
we'll
sir.
try to rectify it.
Okay, sir.
Anyhow. Yeah?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Welcome. Yeah, Shravan?
Sir, here the law of conservation of momentum says that m1 u1 plus m2 u2 equals to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. Sir,
But I'm not using law of conservation of momentum.
Sir, because the method you have used was that m1 v1 equals to m2 v2.
But here, whatever we are defining is like the momentum of the person is just getting shifted to the trolley.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what was the momentum of the system of the boy? Sorry, the momentum of the boy was he is
m1
walking at a
u1
speed of before. So that momentum got shifted to the trolley. So trolley also started moving, but trolley was having the boy as well along with him.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So initial case, if you just relate with law of conservation of momentum also, because that part we are going to get it done later, that total initial and total final. So even if you consider that thing, you can relate that the man velocity is already given 1. Initially
Yes, sir.
trolley
So
was at rest. As per that also you can try to relate.
Sir, so 80 plus 320 plus 80 plus some x multiplied by some x.
80 is equal to 320 plus 80, that will be 400 times x.
Sir, but here the 80 will be minus.
In this, no, why minus the total mass? No?
Sir,
it is initial system equals to final system. Momentum initially of the system, not particularly.
Okay,
and
sir.
Final
So
momentum
here the
of the
speed
system.
is also initial speed.
Yeah. So you are just considering that initially the boy was 1, trolley rest. Finally, both started moving.
Both the body and the trolley began to move at some speed.
Yeah. Because that feet is actually creating that change in momentum. No? So that boy's force or the boy momentum is getting transferred to the entire trolley. And if the trolley's momentum is changing, that means what is the total momentum for the trolley, mass of the entire into the velocity of the trolley. And since it is not only the trolley, because the trolley is also having the person on it.
Okay, sir. So therefore the x is 0.2.
Yeah, okay.
Sir,
So
and
those
here
who just a minute, Shravan. Those who don't have any doubt or anything, they can just leave the meeting because it's already 12:20, I think so. So you can just leave the meeting. Thanks all. Shravan, tell me.
Sir, and as far as the previous question is concerned, I think that since the 1 meter per second is with the ground, and
Yeah.
this 0.2 meter per second is also with the respect to ground.
Yeah.
So here the value will be 0.8 and here the value would be 4, and since these two move at different.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So since
So
they're
here the
opposite.
speed was also with the respect to ground, not with the respect
Yes.
to trolley.
No. That only, even I was telling him also to get it clear that whenever they specify one, that is my speed. I am the person, that is my speed, 1 meter per second. It is not at all related to anything. So outside, if the person is standing, for him, if the trolley is at rest, I am moving at 1 meter per second.
Yes, sir. So the
And now
both
since
are with the ground. Both are
Yeah,
with
both
the
are with respect to the ground. So whenever we solve such type of questions, we need to fix out which is our initial reference. If the reference is for the person standing on the ground, then just get the relative values of both the objects relative to the ground and then just apply your vector addition.
Yes.
Or else just take a person on the inertial, like on the board, on that particular rail. And then with respect to that person you simplify, then that becomes a relative motion type. That since both the velocities are opposite, so it will get added, it will cover more distance on the trolley with respect to the trolley.
But with
That time
respect
1
to
meter
the
per
ground, we
second.
have to subtract that 0.2 multiplied by 4.
Yes. So that will be a different one then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bhupen?
Yes, sir. Sir, how come the 400 km over there?
320 plus 80, because for the trolley, when the momentum was shifted to the trolley.
Sir. So then the other side, how is it 80?
That is only the person, 18 to 1.
Okay.
Because the momentum of the boy got shifted to the trolley. So what was the momentum of the boy? Mass of the boy into its velocity. And that when shifted to the trolley was having boy as well as its own mass.
Okay.
And
so
it is going to
it has,
move.
okay.
So it has got
So
added.
400. Sir, then it is 0.5, no, 0.5 meter per second.
So 80 by 400 will be 8 by 41 by 5, that is
Sir,
0.2.
0.5. So
0.2,
yes.
0.2.
Yes, sir, 0.2. So then 0.2 into 4, it's
0.2 meter per second.
So
Yeah.
So then we have to calculate the displacement. No. So then 0.2 into 4. It is
0.2 into 4 is 0.8.
Yes, sir.
So 0.8 meter is the displacement of the trolley.
Displacement of the trolley. So
Okay,
then,
displacement of the trolley along with the man.
Okay. So then what would be the displacement relative to ground? I did not understand that one.
This is the trolley, entirely trolley got displaced in the backward direction. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
I can directly write it as minus 0.8.
Yes.
Okay, along with that, what was the displacement of the person? Displacement of the man, because he was moving with 1 meter per second. So even
Yes,
if
sir.
I assume that the trolley is not moving, and if I just find out the displacement of the man by its own velocity with respect to the ground, that is going to be the 4 meter in the forward direction.
Yes, sir.
But since trolley is on a frictionless surface, that means the trolley by itself along with the man entirely got shifted backward by 8.8 meter. Means for the person standing on the ground, what will be the resultant displacement now? Well, he will observe the man. He will observe the man at a distance of 3.2 meter.
Yes.
Because the boy has to go forward
Sir.
0.4.
So
But
that
the
we
trolley.
Sir, we have to then add. Sir, then we have to subtract that.
Yeah, we will subtract, no? Because see, 4 meter I am moving forward, but along with that you are trying to push me backward by 0.2.
Okay, yes.
Because 0.2 meter is nothing but the backward push. That much backward you need to move. So you're moving 4 meter ahead, 0.8 meter backward. So what is the resultant displacement?
Okay, sir.
3.2 meter. And the trolley shifting you 0.8 backward, you are moving 4 meter forward. So what is the resultant displacement for your body? That is 3.2 meter.
Sir, we can use the vector formula also.
Yeah, this is vector form only. 3.2
Sir,
because you've got
vector
subtracted.
formula. It's a vector formula to find out
Which
the
one?
resultant.
No, that formula, like it will be 180, no? The cos 180 will again become -1 only, even if you substitute in that, because they are opposite, no? So you need to put theta as 180 degree.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, Piyush, tell me.
सर फ्रिक्शनलेस सरफेस पे जरूरी है कि मींस अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में मतलब वेलोसिटी जाएगी?
हाँ, क्योंकि देखो ना, जब तुम चलते हो ना, तो जो आपका फीट होता है वो क्या करता है, ग्राउंड को पीछे की तरफ पुश करता है. मतलब while walking, whenever I need to move forward, my legs, my feet is in contact with the ground. It will try to push the ground backward. Only then I will get a forward push. That is your Newton's third law. So since I'm applying my backward push, so जो भी momentum में change होगा, जो आपकी body ने generate किया है, वो पूरा momentum transferred होगा उस ट्रॉली को. और जब वो ट्रांसफर होगा तो ट्रॉली किस तरफ मूव करना शुरू करेगी, पीछे की तरफ शो करेगी. मतलब तो जो मोमेंटम बॉडी का था, मोमेंटम बॉडी का आगे की तरफ है, लेकिन फीट ने क्या किया, ट्रॉली को पीछे पुश किया. तो जो भी मोमेंटम बॉडी का ट्रॉली को शिफ्ट हुआ, वो कहाँ पे शिफ्ट हुआ, बैकवर्ड की तरफ.
और सर अगर फ्रिक्शन होगा तब ऐसा नहीं होगा?
नहीं, फ्रिक्शन होगा तो फिर यह हो गया कि जो रेजिस्टिंग फोर्स है, रेजिस्टिंग फोर्स इज मच हाई, दैट पुशिंग फोर्स जो भी हम पीछे अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, वो फ्रिक्शन से बहुत कम होने के कारण वी गेट अ फॉरवर्ड पुश. जो हमारा फोर्स है वो ग्राउंड क्या करता है, वापस से अप्लाई कर देता है, बिकॉज इट हैज दैट मच एफिशिएंट फ्रिक्शन फोर्स अवेलेबल. सो अगर उसके पास 4 न्यूटन का फ्रिक्शन फोर्स है, और अगर तुमने सपोज 0.2 न्यूटन अप्लाई किया, तो 0.2 क्या करेगा, वो रिटर्न तुम्हें करा देगा, बिकॉज वी नीड टू गेट इक्वल एंड ऑपोजिट रिएक्शन फोर्स. बट अगर तुमने 4.2 अप्लाई किया एंड फ्रिक्शन तो सिर्फ 4 है, तो जो रिजल्टेंट 0.2 न्यूटन है वो ट्रॉली पे एक्ट होगा, जिसके कारण ट्रॉली फ्रिक्शन होने पे भी पीछे जरा सा मूव करेगी.
ओके सर, थैंक यू.
अंडरस्टूड? या, वेलकम.